神奇树屋1恐龙谷大冒险 Magic Tree House Dinosaurs Before Dark. There are 10 chapters. Here we go. 1. Into the woods. Help! Monster! Said Annie. Yes, sure, said Jack. A real monster in Frog Creek, Pennsylvania. Run, Jack, said Annie. She ran up the road. Oh, brother, this is what he got for spending time with his 7-year-old sister. Annie loved pretend stuff, but Jack was 8 and a half. He liked real things. Watch out, Jack. The monster's coming. Race you. No thanks, said Jack. Annie raced along into the woods. Jack looked at the sky. The sun was about to set. Come on, Annie. It's time to go home. But Annie had disappeared. Jack waited. No, Annie, he shouted again. Jack, come here. Jack grimaced. This better be good, he said. Jack left the road and headed into the woods. The trees were lit with a golden late afternoon light. Come here, called Annie. There she was, standing under a tall oak tree. Look, she said. She was pointing at a rope ladder, the longest rope ladder Jack had ever seen. Well, he whispered. The ladder went all the way up to the top of the tree. There at the top was a tree house. It was tricked between 2 branches. That must be the highest tree house in the world, said Annie. Who built it? asked Jake. I'd never seen it before. I don't know, but I am going up, said Annie. No, we don't know who it belongs to, said Jack. Just for a teeny minute, said Annie. She started up the ladder. Annie, come back. She kept climbing. Jack found Annie. It's almost dark. We have to go home. Annie disappeared inside the treehouse. Annie! Jack waited a moment. He was about to call again when Annie poked her head out of the treehouse window. Books! She shouted. What? It's filled with books. Oh man, Jack loved books. He pushed his glasses into place. He grabbed the sides of the rope ladder, and up he went. 2. The monster. Jack crawled through a hole in the treehouse floor. Well, the treehouse was filled with books. Books everywhere. Very old books with dusty covers. New books with shiny, bright covers. Look, you can see far, far away, said Annie. She was peering out the treehouse window. Jack looked out the window with her down below, where the tops of the other trees. In the distance, he saw a Frog Creek library, the elementary school, the park. And he pointed in the other direction. There's our house, said Annie. Sure enough, there was their white wooden house with a green porch. Next door was their neighbor's black dog, Harry. He looked very tiny. Hi, Harry, shouted Annie. Shh, said Jack. We are not supposed to be up here. He glanced around the tree house again. I wonder who owns all these books, he said. He noticed bookmarks were sticking out of many of them. I like this one, said Annie. She held up a book with a castle on the cover. Here's a book about Pennsylvania, said Jack. He turned to the page with the bookmark. Hey, there's a picture of frog cream in there, said Jack. This picture of this woods. Oh, there's a book for you, said Annie. She held up a book about dinosaurs. A blue zinc bookmark was sticking out of it. Let me see it, Jack set down his backpack and grabbed the book from her. You looked at that one. I look at one about castles, said Annie. No, we better not, said Jack. We don't know who these books belong to. But even as he said this, Jack opened the dinosaur book to where the bookmark was. He couldn't help himself. He turned to the picture of an ancient flying reptile, a pteranodon. He touched the huge bat like wings. Wow, whispered Jack. I wish I could see a pteranodon for real. Jack studied the picture of the odd-looking creature soaring through the sky. Ah, screamed Annie. What? Said Jack. A monster, Annie cried. She pointed to the treehouse window. Not pretend, Annie, said Jack. No, really, said Annie. Jack looked out the window. A giant creature was gliding above the treetops. He had a long, weird crust on the back of his head, a skinny beak, and huge bat-like wings. It was a real live pteranodon. The creature curved through the sky. He was coming straight toward the treehouse. He looked like a glider plane. The wind began to blow. The leaves trembled. Suddenly, the creature soared up high into the sky. Jack nearly fell out the window, trying to see it. The wind picked up. We saw it now. The treehouse started to spin. What's happening? Cried Jack. Get down, shouted Annie. She pulled him back from the window. The treehouse was spinning faster and faster. Jack squeezed his eyes shut. He held on to Annie. Then everything was still. Absolutely still. Jack opened his eyes. Sunlight slanted through the window. There has Annie, the books, his backpack. Their treehouse was still high up an oak tree, but it wasn't the same oak tree.